Hey guys, in this video I want to talk about how Bit plays T-side Dust2 as the lower tunnels player. I'll go over what he and Navi do to combat the early lower tunnels aggression due to the update, his role in taking catwalk control, and finally how he entries middle to B. So with that said, let's get started. So as we know with the new update on Dust2, lower B is something you have to worry about at the start of the round. You can no longer always depend on your operator to be able to spot it for you, so that means you have to be prepared to fight a CT who decides to aggress the lower tunnels. Now to combat this aggression at the start of the round, normally what Bit likes to do is he likes to go all the way towards his left side of the wall right as he gets into the tunnels. And the reason why he does this is because for the CT coming up the stairs, in order to peek Bit, he has to commit all the way towards the left side to be able to kill Bit on the right. And what that allows is for somebody who's in Perfecto's position to quickly be able to trade on a CT who decides to commit to killing Bit's position. Now something you must consider if you're going on the very left side here are the spawns. And if we look at the spawns, timing is the main consideration. The main question here is, at what point does the CT actually beat you to the entrance? After doing a bunch of testing, the answer is that if you are on this side of the box, you will beat the CT and make it past the entrance. But if you're on the right side of the box here, you will not beat the CT to the entrance and he will see you as you come out. So at the start of every round, you might want to look at where you spawned just so you're aware of whether or not the CT can beat you to the tunnel's entrance. So that way you'll know whether or not you'll have positioning on the CT, or if he'll have positioning on you. Now after all those considerations, if you get into upper tunnels without the CT aggressing you from stairs, it's now time to clear lower tunnels. Now the most common way that Bit likes to do this is by simply throwing a flash off the wall so it pops inside lower. Now this flash doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be just enough so that any CTs holding this angle will be pushed off towards the right side, hence giving him space to clear the left side like so. As well, you can also get your teammate to throw this type of flash for you as well, so something like what Perfecto does here, a very simple one. The angle is a little bit different, but accomplishes the same thing. But what you have to keep in mind is that lower tunnels is such an enclosed space that it can be very hard to flash every single angle. And that's why you'll see that Perfecto, he'll often follow up behind him to ensure that there's a possibility of a trade. Now after the initial flash towards lower, you may also want to throw a second flash that's going to blind more towards catwalk. A flash that blinds these particular angles up here to give you space for you to clear the right side of the lower tunnels behind the box. As well, just wanted to show what the flash would look like for a CT who's boosted, as well as a CT who's playing close cat looking into lower just above the ledge. Alternatively, you could have a teammate towards top mid throw this flash for you that pops just above the lower tunnel's entrance to allow you to get control of lower without getting shot at from cat. And you can see the effectiveness of this flash, but you might also notice here that Liege was actually trying to spot a sliver at the top of the boxes. And the reason for that is because it's actually possible to do a jump spot from the bottom of the steps towards lower, which will allow you to see towards the top of cat. Now after Bit fully clears lower, he typically likes to throw a Molotov catwalk, and this Molotov is intended to push off anybody who's playing close up the stairs. So what that means is that when you throw this Molotov, you also help your teammates take cat control by pushing off the potential opper, like Fallen right here. Or if it's on anti-eco, you limit the CT's options of being able to play close, like Rain does here with the Deagle, and it basically pushes him back so that his teammates can work up towards catwalk and force the CTs off bricks. Now after throwing this Molotov, if you have a teammate that can throw a flash through the mid doors, this will actually allow you to get on top of Xbox. Now once you're on Xbox, you're in a great position with a headshot angle to punish any sort of cat aggression. You have the option to be able to time your peeks perfectly with what you hear as well. So for example, Bit right here, he's able to peek after the flash goes off, which leaves Zyru no chance of getting this kill. Now once you're on cat, there's a couple ways to take bricks control. So the first one is to simply have a teammate throw a flash for you. So this one right here where Simple throws a flash just over the building, and both Bit and Boomich are going to peek it to get bricks control like this. Or you may want to opt for the run boost. So here you see Boomich get on top of Bit's head. They do a bit of a run boost so that Boomich flies across the corner. And as well, by run boosting, there's no chance at all that the opera is going to be able to take a shot blind and be able to kill you just because you're going to be flying over the angle. Once you have catwalk control, now the option opens up for you to either go for a catwalk execute or to go mid B. Now just keep in mind as well that since we're talking more about hitting middle to B in this video, it's important that you have to get catwalk control before you hit middle to B. And that's because if you don't get catwalk control beforehand, then the CTs can quickly flank you through catwalk while you're trying to go middle to B, so you want to make sure to avoid that as much as possible. So let's talk about entering mid to B. We're going to see a couple examples here where Bit is going to be entering up towards the B slope. there's a couple of things I want you to keep in mind. So the first one here is that as they come up towards the doors, you'll notice that they throw both the top and bottom smokes. So you'll see the one for the bottom, and then you'll see one for the top. And with the top and bottom smokes, it basically gives them cover so that as they come up through the B slope, they don't have to worry about someone being able to shoot them from behind at CT spawn, even if they're boosted. Now, the second thing is that notice that Bit goes towards this right side wall as much as he possibly can. And the reason why he does this is to protect himself from window as much as he can, and to also give him cover so that he can focus more on the doors position where there could be a player boosted up here or a player down low like this. And then as he gets closer towards the doors, then he spots towards the closet, and then finally he goes up and focuses on the window. Bit basically follows a formula as he enters up towards mid B. So the first step of the formula is to make sure you hug this right side as much as you possibly can to first give yourself cover from window and to give yourself space to be able to peek the tunnel's entrance. Now, as soon as you're along this right wall, as you start to come up, make sure you give yourself a chance to peek the window. And then secondly, you want to make sure you want to head more in this direction. The reason for that is because you want to make sure that as you go to peek towards the closet, you're not getting shot from the window side. This will provide you enough cover if you decide to pass in this direction. After you clear towards closet, then you can come up towards the window and clear the rest of the site. And if you're doing it well, it should look a little something like this to the window player. So as you come up along this right side here, the window player will not be able to see you at all. As you can now clear the left side, and then as you get towards the top, then you give a solid peek to the player towards the window to give yourself a chance to fight. And then after you see nobody there, then you go over towards this left side here, where if the player at window decides to peek now, he wouldn't be able to see you. And then you come up towards the window. Here's another example. So we're going to highlight all the points of the formula this time. So the double smokes go out. Bit, he's going to be going along this right side of the wall as much as possible. Gives himself a chance to peek towards the window. And then as he comes up, he pats himself more this side to give himself a chance to fight towards closet. He gets the kill, and then he goes up towards the window. As I mentioned before, having catwalk control can be powerful, and that's because you can throw fakes with them. And if you throw fakes with them, there's a chance that you'll actually get one of the B players to rotate closer towards mid, and this is an opportunity for you to catch him off guard. Like you see with Twist here, he gets completely caught off guard as he's rotating down the B ramp, and these are the opportunities you want to make sure to take advantage of. Some other considerations to keep in mind when you're coming up towards mid B. So if you happen to be the second player in line like Bit is here, and you have somebody in front of you who's taking the pathing that we discussed earlier, don't be afraid to take a wider angle on the player towards window like this, to ensure that he doesn't try to take a shallow angle on the entry coming up. You may have noticed as well that it's not too common to actually see the bottom smoke for CT spawn thrown from outside the doors. That's because it gives time for the CT to actually react by playing in front of the smokes and potentially meeting you at the doors. So that's why you typically see the smoke thrown once you're past the doors as opposed to behind it. And as well, just remember that if you only throw the bottom smoke, you're giving the CT a chance to boost up on top of the boxes and to spot over mid. So this is something you always have to keep in mind if you're not throwing the second smoke. That's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked what you saw, please drop a like, and as well, let me know what you thought of the video in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to see more future content. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys next time.